Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Greetings, noble ones. Ezio Auditore da Firenze, from Florence, born in Florence on the 24th of June, 1459, died in Florence on the 30th of November, 1524. Shut up, it doesn't count as a spoiler, we're all gonna die. Alright, so the lad was born and bred in Florence. That's lovely. Question is though, does he actually sound like it? Does Ezio Auditore have a Florence accent? In order to find out, we're going to watch some clips from the Assassin's Creed games. We will watch them both in English and in Italian. Also, at the end of this video, we'll be reading the letter to Sofia, my own interpretation, and I will expose some mistakes that were made, really bad mistakes to be honest, in the English version of the game when the character uses some Italian words the wrong way. Alright, let's begin with the Italian version. When selecting the Italian voice actor, did they choose someone from Florence or not? And does he have a Florence accent when he speaks?
Fiorentini, prestatemi orecchio. 22 anni fa mi trovavo dove sono ora, a guardar morire le persone che amavo, tradite da coloro che chiamavo amici.
Alright, that's enough, I can already tell being native. No, he does not have a Florence accent at all. Zero. So what kind of Italian is he using? Standard Italian. His Italian is accent-free, which is actually a prerogative of people who do voice acting and dub video games and cartoons and films. So when he speaks, you cannot place his place of origin. Now, to be honest, my personal opinion, that's a little bit of a shame. I would have hired someone from Florence and would have asked him to speak naturally, because the fact that the character is from Florence is so typical that would have given him a very strong Florence aura. Now, of course, the character is from medieval Italy, so the entire Italian should be different, but considering the fact that the game is using modern Italian, at least choosing a Florence accent would have given Ezio a very special touch. But unfortunately, they chose to go with standard accent-free Italian. So, how is the situation? Is the voice actor from Florence and he was asked not to use the Florence accent, or he's actually not from Florence at all? Let's find out. Okay, so we have two voice actors in the Italian version, one voice actor in the English version, and we'll get to the English one in a minute. Now, for the Italian one, for most of the games, we have Renato Novara. Now, Renato is an excellent voice actor, and he's originally from the city of Torino, so Turin, up in the north. Nothing to do with Florence. However, in Assassin's Creed Revelation, the voice actor dubbing Ezio is Diego Baldoin, and he's from Vimercate. Now, to be honest, even if I'm Italian, I had no idea where Vimercate was because it's a very small town. I'm talking about 26,000 inhabitants and it's very far away from where I live. So I had to look it up, and it seems like it's in the province of Monza. So again, it's in the north of Italy, and it has nothing to do with the way people speak in Tuscany. So, could these voice actors fake a Florence accent? Yes, but it would be so fake that, to be honest, I think that even at gunpoint they couldn't actually pretend to be from Tuscany. They spoke standard Italian, they're not speaking with the original native northern accent, but they couldn't speak with a Florence accent even if they asked them to. So, what does an actual Tuscany accent sound like? Well, how does someone from Florence sound like? Well, let me show you.
Perché la Toscana è una buona madre, ma la vedi come è fatta? È dolce, con queste colline, così vicino tutto, l'olio che scende. Secondo me Pinocchio, perché Pinocchio è rilegato a un posto.
Okay, so you must have noticed, just to sum up a couple of things, people in Tuscany, although their version of Italian is probably the closest to standard, still it's very different from it. So their vowel system is basically what standard uses, but they also use many words that people using standard Italian don't use. Also, the intonation is different, which I personally really like, and many people from Florence and Siena tend to have something which is called Gorgia Toscana, which is the sort of pronunciation of the C in some instances, which becomes an aspirated sound similar to the H in English. So when you hear a lot of ha 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 ha, it's probably a Tuscany accent, because no one else in Italy has that sound.
Secondo me.
Another typical characteristic of Tuscany accent is that the G often is softer, similar to the word je suis in French.
Dei giovani
Alright, now that we know how things work for the Italian version, what about the English version? Does he, the voice actor, at least try to mimic a Florence accent? Let's check it out.
22 years ago, I stood where I stand now and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind. It would have consumed me, were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers.
Okay, from this clip, we can understand a few things. First off, okay, he is not Italian. In fact, sometimes he even sounds a bit more Spanish than Italian to me.
When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it.
Because of the intonation he chooses in some occasions. Also, when he speaks Italian, he has a very strong foreign accent.
Ma ora, che sia il tuo Dio a giudicarti, requiescat in pace.
Va ora, che sia il tuo Dio a giudicarti. Requiescat in pace.
I can see that he tried, at least, he listened maybe to the Italian version and tried to mimic, I'm not sure, but he still has a very strong accent and it's very unnatural. So no Florence in that at all. So what about this mistake that I was mentioning? Well, there is a mistake in the death letter, the letter of death, the final letter he writes, a letter to Sofia, which is, of course, was corrected in the Italian version, and it's that when he refers to his wife, he calls her mio caro.
Most especially mio caro.
Specialmente l'amore, mia cara.
In the English version, which really made me laugh, because mio caro is used for a man. To a woman, you say mia cara, as you can tell in the corrected Italian version. Now, this is very strange. I imagine they would have asked an Italian, maybe they didn't ask an Italian. It sounds like they looked it up on Google Translate, to be honest, because they wrote like dear, and it appeared mio caro, which is masculine, because that's the first thing that normally is shown in dictionaries. But they should have asked any Italian that, and he would have immediately corrected it. It's a mistake that no Italian would make.
Quando ero giovane avevo la libertà, ma non la vedevo. Avevo il tempo, ma non lo sapevo. E avevo l'amore, ma non lo provavo. Ci sono voluti molti anni per capire il significato di tutti e tre. E ora, al tramonto della mia vita, questa comprensione si è mutata in appagamento. Amore, libertà e tempo, allora così disponibili, sono il nutrimento che mi permette di andare avanti. Specialmente l'amore, mia cara. Per te, per i nostri figli, per i nostri fratelli e sorelle, e per il vasto e magnifico mondo che ci ha dato la vita e che continua a sorprenderci. Con affetto infinito, mia Sofia. Tuo per sempre, Ezio Auditore.